welcome to another IELTS Task 2 writing presentation. Today we are looking at an advantages and disadvantages essay. So the question starts with a statement followed by a question. And the question is asking you to write about the positives and negatives of working for a company. The statement also refers to starting your own business. So in this essay, you need to compare working for somebody else with working for yourself. So we're going to look at the structure and the contents that you will need to write a successful essay. So let's begin. So there are three main parts in the essay. There is the introduction, the main body, and finally the conclusion. And let's look at the introduction. So as you can see, it is short, and first you need to paraphrase the question. Then you state the main advantage, and then the main disadvantage of working for a company. So let's look again at the question and how to paraphrase it. And you paraphrase it by using synonyms and changing the word order. Now today we haven't changed the word order, but we have used 3 synonyms. And here is the first one. So instead of writing starting their own business, we wrote set up their own company. Instead of hesitate between, we used are unsure about. And instead of getting a job, we used work for a company. Okay, so you can see that synonyms are a great way to paraphrase the question. Then, after the paraphrasing the question, we're going to look back at the original question itself. And it's asking you to write about the advantages. So we have given a main advantage in the introduction. And it's also asking you to write about the disadvantages, and we have stated a main disadvantage. So in the exam, time is very limited, so it's perfectly acceptable to give only one advantage and one disadvantage. So here is the completed introduction, and firstly, you paraphrase the question, then state the main advantage, and then the main disadvantage. Now, one thing I would advise you is to make sure that you plan your essay before you start writing and that you are very clear about what your main advantage and what your main disadvantage is. It will make your life a lot easier. Okay, so moving on to the main body, you can see that there are 2 paragraphs. Now, both paragraphs start with topic sentences, and the top paragraph looks at the advantages of being employed, and the bottom paragraph looks at the disadvantages. Also, you can see that an example has been included to support what you're saying, and it's very important to include at least one example in your essay. Okay, so looking at the topic sentence in paragraph 2, you can see that it is directly linked to what you wrote about in the introduction, as you can see here. And it's talking about the main advantage of working for a company. And it's that the job has a fixed income and benefits. So you can see that the topic sentence is talking about exactly the same thing. Then after that, you give more detail and reasons as to why you think it is an advantage to be employed, and also an example to support it. Okay, and similarly in paragraph 3, you can see that the disadvantage that you talked about in the topic sentence is directly connected with what you wrote in the introduction. And again, you go on to give reasons why you think that working for a company is not necessarily a good thing. Okay? So as you can see, this is the completed introduction and the completed main body. And all that remains is the conclusion. And in the conclusion, it's here that you summarize. So you summarize the advantage, and you also summarize the disadvantage or disadvantages as well. Okay? So here is the completed essay. Okay, and I'd like you to pay attention also to the words in green. Now, these are called linking words, and they are very useful to help with the flow and cohesion of your essay. So make sure to use them in the exam. Now, we haven't finished. we need to now turn our attention to another type of advantages and disadvantages question that often appears in IELTS exams. So have a look, and can you notice the difference between the question, so this question, and the previous question? Okay? Well, the difference is that this question is not just asking you to state the advantages and the disadvantages, it's also asking you to give your opinion and to say whether you favour one side of the argument more than the other. Now, I think in the exam it's very important to take one side of the argument or the other and not just stay in the middle, because it will be much easier to write the essay like this. Okay, so let's have a look how to do this and how to answer this type of question. And the main thing that you have to do is in the introduction and the conclusion. Now you can see in the introduction that everything is the same as before, except in grey. Now you can see that we've added our opinion at the end in grey, okay? And a good way to do this, or some words that will help you to do this, you can see highlighted here in green. So these words are very, very useful to help you to express your opinion in the introduction. So make sure to take a note of them. Also have a look at the words in yellow. So benefits and drawbacks. Now these are some good synonyms for advantages and disadvantages, and they can help you to present your opinion. Okay, like I said, you also need to make some changes in the conclusion. And first, you refer to the side of the argument you're not in favour of, and you explain why you do not think that this is the best option. And then finally, in grey, you can see that you state your opinion to finish, okay? And we've highlighted a few words in green which will help you to do this. And as you can see, firstly, you can use although, and at the beginning of your last sentence, you can also use the word consequently. So these two words are going to be very useful in your conclusion as well for this type of essay. Okay, so thank you for watching today. And if you would like to access more resources, please visit us at www.elearningenglish.com. If you're interested, we also have 50 online practices and tests, which will be very useful for you. We also have a free trial available. And if you're interested, you can also sign up to our 2-month writing course. And a lot of the assignments can be checked by us once you write them. Okay, so please feel free to visit and make the most of all the extra resources that we have, and they will really help you with your exam. It's been a pleasure to speak to you today. Take care and hopefully see you soon. Bye-bye.